Hey DC, it's me Roger back to make a video response to John K. TechHead's thread. Hey John, glad you're feeling better. In that original video you seem genuinely distressed and I can feel you. There's been some interesting responses and I thought I'd share my 2 cents. Yeah, so, good for you, John, for living the dream, opening up a record store. I'm sure many of us in the VC dream of opening a record store, but, the truth is, once it's a job, it's a job, and so, whatever it is, but, so, yeah, you have a record store, you come home at the end of the day, putting on a record, it's like a busman's holiday, right? I mean, that's understandable. So, balancing that out, I don't know how you do it, because you gotta, the love of records, the love of music, and then there's, the job. I learned a long time ago, just as an aside, when I was in high school, I used to love playing in pit orchestras and stupid musicals and stuff like that, and I was the pianist, and so I would play all the time, and I actually was hired by a couple of other high schools to do the same thing for their little high school musical productions and stuff. And so there was one year where I did like 3 musicals, and it just about, well, it literally did kill musical theater for me. I mean, I just can't even. But I learned something about myself, and that was that I could never make it in a pit band, especially, the pianist, you play for every rehearsal, the dancers, the singers, and then, by the time the dress rehearsal came and the rest of the orchestra would come in, and they're seeing the music for the first time, I was so sick of the book. We would do a few performances, and I never wanted to see it again, but, imagine, if I made my living playing in a pit orchestra on Broadway, where you do, 10 shows a week, 3 times on Saturdays, it would just kill it for me. It would kill it for me. It would kill music for me. So that's a big reason why I don't have some big music career, because, a lot of, almost every, big rock band or whatever, they go on tour and they play the same damn set every night, note for note. I would get so bored. I would just grow to hate the music. So anyway, all that is to say that, like, familiarity breeds contempt, or like if you're tied up, if your whole life is tied up in something, it's very easy for that to slip into resentment, personally speaking. So, there's that. And just, to respond to some of the responses, record collectors are funny, they're people like anyone else. I like how Andreas owned it. He said, I'm a record collector, and I collect records. And when people come into his house and they see all these records and they say, that, the typical thing, we've all heard, oh, you can't possibly listen to all those. And Andreas is like, no, I can't. And that's not the point, I don't know, for me, there are three layers to this record collecting thing, okay? The one is just digging for records, record stores, record shows, flea markets, whatever, I like doing this. This gives me pleasure. It's weird, but I know a lot of you guys know exactly what I mean. It's just, I like digging for records, and I know that if I start resenting all the Barbra Streisand records, I'm doing it too much and I need to cut back. But I like it. I get pleasure out of just simply looking, digging. I don't get nearly as much pleasure ordering a record off Discogs. Now, I could get the coolest records on the planet if I just plop down the money on Discogs and wait for it to come in the mail, but I do that sometimes, but it's not this, it's, of this, clicking around, whatever. Okay, so that's the first layer, digging. It's enjoyable. The second part is bringing them home, and cleaning them up, and putting them in Blake sleeves and admiring them, and holding them and sniffing them, and putting them on the shelf, and standing back and admiring them, and having a collection. It's nice. It's, I personally think a wall of records is a really cool look. Now, some people hate that. Fortunately, my wife thinks it looks cool too, so, we're happy. So there's that. There's just having a collection. And then the last part is listening to them, and it's just 1/3 of the experience for me, so it's a minority part of the whole activity of record collecting. And so I don't feel bad that I have records on my shelf that I'm probably never going to listen to. Although I have started to think about what are my reasons for holding on to something and questioning what those reasons are. For me, for a lot of music, I can hear it once and be like, okay, well, that's what that is, and I'm not going to. It has nothing new to offer me by listening to it again. It might give me pleasure to hear it again. Pop music works on that repetition thing. You play it and play it and play it until you're sick of it. It's very, very few records that, are so dense and deep and difficult that, you can't grasp them on one listen, and those tend to be my favorite records. But then again, I'm not always in the mood to sit down and be challenged, So that's why having a nice big record collection is good, because there's music for any occasion. So, if after working at the record store all day, you come home, you don't feel like playing records, I wouldn't feel bad about it, and I wouldn't say, oh, why? Because there's other reasons. There's other reasons why, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. Now I will say this, and this has nothing to do with John or anybody. It's more maybe a reflection on myself. When these kinds of threads come up, I always think about that Janis Joplin tune. Your record collection ain't gonna get you into heaven. Just because you have a cool record doesn't make you a cool person. Just because you have good taste doesn't make you a good person. That should be obvious, but it's the nature of collecting and music and stuff that it's real easy to project a lot of ourselves onto these things. They're really just mass-produced pieces of plastic and cardboard. They're not, inherently anything but that. They may have good music on them, they have bad music on them, but they're just these things, and I just personally feel like it's dangerous to imbue things with, to think that somehow they reflect back on me and who I am, and I'm not my record collection. I'm a record collector, but I'm other things too, and I don't measure my worth in whether or not I have the coolest, rarest records, and that's not an accusation of anybody. I think it would be true of anything. And records are great because it's not like stamp collecting, right? Where if you actually used the item in the way in which it was intended to be used, you would destroy their value. No one's going to take that upside down airplane stamp and put it on an envelope to mail their gas bill, right? They're not gonna do that. Records are nice because they're things, and you can collect them, but they have music on them. You can actually use them the way they're intended to be used, and if you're careful, you're not harming them. But for me personally, I'm kind of going through a similar kind of thing. Now, I'm not going to be like Richard Lee. Holy crap! when he showed that he sold his whole freaking record collection all at once, and he had an amazing record collection. I mean, talk about top shelf, baller, real deal stuff. And just, I don't know what precipitated this. I don't know if it was a crisis or needed the money, or if he just said fuck it and it's out of here. I've been doing this my whole life. Doing this gives me too much pleasure. So obviously I'm gonna keep doing that. But the last few months, I haven't been buying as many records, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And I've been slowly withdrawing from the whole Facebook thing, again for a variety of reasons. The whole mania surrounding vinyl and stuff is a little hard to take on top of everything else that's going on in the world. Every time I go to the record store, I look in the new bins, and it's like, okay, what's the most useless reissue this week? Is it Carly Simon? Is it, Bruce Springsteen? I've decided I'm not putting out that double album. Not only because it's expensive and no one cares, but these pieces are 40 minutes long. And I was thinking, why chop these pieces up just to put them on this expensive format just because people fetishize the format? It does not serve the music to put it on vinyl. I love vinyl, but I like CDs too when they're well made. I like high resolution digital audio. I wish that was really a thing, I like little 8-bit synthesizers. I'm rambling here. Maybe I should have tried to organize my thoughts. But anyway, so I'm not buying as many records. And I'm also not playing as many records as I used to. The world is going insane. If things continue the way they appear to be continuing, a world war is inevitable, it seems to me. And if that's true, then, these little bits of plastic and cardboard are pretty fucking trivial. But, I'm not going to let Vlad and his stooge in the White House preemptively, wreck my life. So I'm going to continue to do this. But, I'm also, when I started out in the VC, I had short hair and my life was really different, and this studio didn't exist. And as time's gone on, I've been putting more and more time and energy and money into my studio, and less into my record collection. And at this point, I'm kind of cuckoo for synthesizers. I was telling Liz, you buy a record, it has one sound on it. It makes a sound, but it just makes one sound. A synthesizer can make infinite sounds. I just got this recently, which is droning away in the background. This is Make Noise, O-Coast, No Coast, Zero Coast, desktop modular synthesizer. I joked in one of my previous videos that I was going to get a Buchla. This is not a Buchla, but it has that additive synthesis flavor, which is really cool. I can spend hours with this. I can get out of my head, stop thinking about how fucked up things are. Make music. It's not even about music. It's about sound. It's just really gratifying. It's really gratifying the way that records just aren't. I still listen to records. I still buy records. But I might do a big purge of my record collection and get a Eurorec module. That's where I'm headed. Anyway, that's enough babbling for me. John, take care. I hope you figure this work-life balance out. It's something everybody has to deal with. I'm sure it's especially painful when it comes to music. All right. I hope you're all doing well. I'll see you soon.